Hello, good evening, and warm greetings from here, and welcome to this retreat this weekend on a profound subject. I hope that you are able to hear and the translation is working. Just checking that everyone is possibly. Manuel needs to unmute. So we would like to share a couple of quotes from worldly life, but somehow they resonate and have a connection with the subject from the model of Raj Yoga. And this Peter Druck has said that the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, but it's to act with yesterday's logic. So we've got a completely different logic structure with knowledge. So it's interesting how that permeates, how it has an effect on everything we're doing. And that will keep us safe. And it says in the knowledge, under the canopy of protection. The second one, Wayne Dyer, said transformation literally means going beyond your form. Transformation. And I think we can take that at a very profound level. I don't know if that's how it was meant, but it's in the truest sense, going beyond the form. So looking forward to sharing the space and having a chance to meet and refine on these subjects. Handing over to Brother Prashant. Good evening. I don't think you can unmute right now, so okay.
Hello and good evening. And lots of encouragement for the small gathering to come into light and sound. It creates a more interactive atmosphere. And a very, very important subject for us, the confluence. And at various times we hear Baba speaking in the greatness of the present time. So we'll get the opportunity to explore, what happens at this time in the confluence. We'll get that chance. Also opportunity for you to share and also for you to ask also. So let us start with a few moments of attention and experience. During these minutes, we start with our best sight, best light, best intellect. And we have the option to go for 100%. Not 90%, 100%. We all have got the paras intellect. And when we are seeing this way, we give ourselves a permission to see the way God sees. Even for a few minutes, we give ourselves permission to go for 100% right view. When we do this, first thing that happens, the physical world appears what it is. If it is temporary, we see it as temporary. Everything there is temporary. That's the way we see. There are no blind spots when we are seeing in full light. If it is a theater, if it is a story, we see it as a story. Whole thing, physical world, and that includes this gathering and Prashant, this is all part of this story world. So everything that happened in the past is also a story. When we are dealing with a story, naturally people remain free from bondages. No one creates demands in a story. No one has disappointments. No one creates ego based on a story. Just by using the right word and having this perspective, knowing that it's a story, we are able to step out of this. With this Paras intellect, we are able to see the world beyond the story. Story is not the only reality. For Pattar, that is the whole thing. Story is drowning in the story. But when we are seeing from Paras, we say there is a story, but there is the world beyond. And world beyond is the reality. It is not just a meditation. It's the real world, important world. We see this world in the image of a sky. We may see it in color, but expanse of light. This environment, Paras environment, where we are seeing the big picture, we are seeing the real world, and in this world we see the true family of souls. This environment favors the soul. Soul becomes conscious. That is a clear milestone. The true self becomes conscious. And for him to be like a tiny point, right now here, to be that tiny point appears normal. To be immortal appears normal. To belong to that supreme sky appears normal. Not to need anything for its existence. So different. Need nothing for its existence. That appears normal. And if there are no needs, there are no disappointments. If the immortality is normal, then he knows that he is beyond harm. That appears normal. Story is harmless. And this invisible soul understands nothing in the three worlds can harm him even the slightest. This is another very strategic realization for us, another milestone. When anyone realizes that he is so safe, so secure, he can be carefree. That is what helps him to experience that divine personality. Divinity, to experience it, even for seconds, minutes, we need to touch this realization. The soul, this invisible player, he is different. He is immortal and beyond harm. He remains the same. Next cycle is the same, which means he has lost nothing. Anyone who comes in that space, he finds everything is a gift. If nothing can harm him, then it becomes a gift. So for him, this entire universe is a gift. As it comes, every moment, every scene, sound, it is all a gift. Because this background program is not running. Program trying to check if it is dangerous for me, if this is going to harm me. That program is not running during those seconds, minutes. This invisible player, invisible soul is the invisible player. He got this huge PlayStation. This universe is like a PlayStation for him. He knows he is very lucky to have such a gift, the universe and being beyond harm and life of silent happiness and peace, where everyone is divine and noble. All are like this, all souls, the family of souls. Their starting position is this. They all are safe, secure, beyond harm. That's why their natural nature is childlike and godlike. God is God because he is in this space. Remains soul conscious. Fully with the highest intellect and the best side. And then there are no fabricated demands or worries or sorrows. All the sorrows that come, they are for nothing. When the Supreme Being or one who is fully conscious, they experience that life where they are beyond harm. And so, he knows he is lucky. His life is extraordinary. He got this great family. His world is world of truth. He is not in the fiction. Whilst everyone else is deceived into falsehood. They are living in the story and don't even know that they are in the story. Deceived in a serious way. Whereas the invisible player is in truth. He's not just writing books on truth or tries to know truth, he lives in truth. He has the true, he knows the true self. It also means everyone else, they got a false notion of the self. They see Cinderella herself. They're in the story. Silently, he is aware that his life is with God, belongs to God, loved by God. That is the way it is, whether he is aware of it or not. He belongs, eternally belongs to the family of God, loved by God. He has company of God. When he is conscious, he understands what a prize. At every level and in every aspect, he has got the best. And this is now, this is the eternal thing, and this is the reality now at this moment. As we continue on our journey in the sky, on earth, we remember the immensely beautiful truth of everyone, truth of the soul. Shanti. Thank you. It's nice opportunity for us, more like a reset. Come back to our starting position. We need these reminders. Even now, if we are talking about this, and Prashant is talking about soul and soul consciousness. But Prashant is part of the story. That is the script Prashant is talking. And at the same time, that tiny point, that invisible soul, he is becoming conscious and understands his existence, his life with God, his immortality, and his independence from the story. This is the effort we have to make. This is like a little step, one step, where the soul becomes conscious. And we said, create the environment, Paras environment, that favors the soul. Soul becomes conscious. Until then, we can be making ego-based effort. Ego trying to become soul conscious. That happens, and the language will be also like that. And so to move from that ego-based effort to soul-based effort. Yes, you want to add anything, say anything?
I guess the question that comes up, what is one main indicator of ego-based effort versus soul-based? Is this something we can definitely clearly check?
Sure. When it is ego-based effort, story becomes not a story. For ego, story is serious and important, and everything matters. It matters. His feelings, emotions are based on the story during those minutes, during those seconds. When it is soul-based effort, for him, his feelings, emotions are based on the sky, based on that supreme reality. That is his world. Story is a story for him, and he is amused by it. When it is ego-based effort, it is like trying to make Prashant perfect, trying to make Prashant into a deity. Something is directed at that level, and promote the character in the drama. You are trying to make Prashant soul conscious. That is one gross level. When it is soul is already, only the soul can become soul conscious. And nice thing is it already exists. And so our only effort is to pay attention and create an environment for him to wake up. I'm going to use the whiteboard and touch some aspects of our journey. So the confluence age. Confluence age, because there has been other ages. That's why there is the confluence age. Confluence is the time we are moving up, and until then we have been going down. So what has been happening during this journey? Let us see our world, and we show this line, and below this line is our grand world. What we often show in our physical world is at this level. And of course, everything else within it, and dollars and euros. And we said we are travelers passing through this. Who is the traveler? The invisible soul. He is the invisible traveler. He is the invisible prince. He belongs to the King of Kings. His starting position, he knows of his supreme reality. And he knows he's lucky. He knows he's immortal. He knows his life with God. He knows of his great family, and the family, divine family. What is the uniqueness in this family? There is no Ravan. That is what makes it everything different. No Ravan. It's nothing inauspicious, nothing funny. Something if we do not like anything in anyone else, it is only Ravan. Whatever we do not like in myself, if you trace it back, it is Ravan. So here, no Ravan means they are clean. Inside out, they are clean, all. And we mentioned earlier, desireless. They need nothing. Baba uses the expression, ignorant of the word desire. Deities are ignorant of the word desire. That is the expression Baba uses. But deities are like that because souls are like that. Souls need nothing for their existence. they certainly need nothing from a story for their existence. Who needs something from a story, with some desperation? Deities need nothing, so also the souls need nothing. So everything is a association. If you are acting in a drama, everything is, you are associated with it, you come out of it. It is loosely involved in it. Such is their attitude, starting position. And so they all experience that state where there is no desperation of any kind. They cannot be denied of anything. No one can deprive them of anything. It becomes a state of complete freedom. If you don't need anything from anywhere, there is freedom. So at this level, they know this life where there is this whole family, all are like this. They are desireless, sorrowless, egoless, viceless. Imagine, if someone was like this, need nothing, and everything appears great. The childlike innocence, they can afford to be innocent. If someone is secure like this, then innocence follows. Just like Baba is Bholanath, so also this family is Bhola. This whole life, the interaction is very important for us. The interacting with others, that is important. At this level, you can truly relax. No one is trying to trick you into something, and no one is going to harm you. That's why a supreme reality. If the family is like this, the father is the one who is forever in that state. So they are immensely lovely. Zero Ravan, that makes it immensely lovely. And that is the eternal scene that we experienced. That is our starting position within ourselves and in others. And during the journey, we come into the drama and journey. What really happens? You want to tell? During the journey, as we are going through different births and rebirths, what happens until we reach Confluence Age? You can, if you can answer in one word.
Or one phrase, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
The soul loses power or degradation and entropy. We forget who we are. Yeah, forgetfulness, depletion.
At a practical level, what happens at a practical?
Become body conscious. Confusion. Loss of energy, power of the soul, attachment.
Good, very good.
Ownership. Thank you.
Yeah. Then we may say use the word to start with. Getting impressed, that itself is a problem. Even before we create bondage, to get impressed. Golden age is a time, there are golden palaces and perfection all around, but they are not impressed with the things of the drama. Their inner strength, whatever, the inner experience was such that nothing here left an impression. That I want to see that again, I want to touch that again. This was not happening. So to get impressed is you are moving, you are getting drawn into this. this whole box that is there down below, its one function is to entice you, entice the souls. That's the function. It is an extraordinary gift, but within it, there is Maya's program is also there. And so if the soul is powerful and if with his inner, emerged experience, he manages this without getting impressed for some births, maybe, in the beginning, but gradually he's losing degrees. So Baba does say Narayan has less degrees than Krishna. In the form, whatever, it may be percentage, just 0.1% less. But Narayan has been drawn into to some level. But that is enough, once you are drawn, just like if you are a top, if you spin a top, but if you touch it or it gets into a wobble, just one wobble, then next time around, it will not rectify itself. That wobble becomes bigger and bigger. So same here. Once you have gone out of that center, impressed, then you are into the downward spiral from that moment onwards. And so what happens as a result? You are claiming things. That is the next level. You are missing and you want to claim and you want to. Attachment is a broad word, but it is like becoming dependent. Emotionally dependent. You want something, you are missing this. There is dependency on matter. At one time you did not even know that this exists, and if it is there, there was no impression, you didn't miss anything. There was a state where you miss nothing, you knew you lack nothing, you can lose nothing, and you need nothing. That was the starting position. You miss nothing, you lack nothing, you lose nothing. Implied, you are full. Everyone is like this, but they experience this in the starting position. And now they are missing things, they are trying to claim things, and they are becoming dependent and impressed. And now they are using the word my to things. There are possessiveness within that temporary fiction. It may be just, as we said, 1%. They are not saying everything is mine, but they just got this, they are caught into, creating bondage. All of this drops them further, because the moment you put a label my, now you can lose this more. On top of your other feelings, now I can lose this another, one more item. So you are more insecure and you want to create more bondages. You have to claim more. So all this starts. And what is further? What is the extreme form of this journey? Body conscious Ravan's journey, downward spiral. What's the next level? The extreme level. All along we are saying, here is an invisible traveler just passing through a story. It could be a Cinderella story with some junk and masks and cardboard. And he has an exit, he has got a home, he has got a God. And suddenly he is impressed with some things, start claiming things, and is becoming dependent on things. say something is me, my. What's the next level?
Can lose what is mine. So there's fear or demonic or identifying I am the person.
That's right. That's a word I'm looking for. Great ego and identify. Means he now defines himself based on things in that box. Can you imagine? He has become himself, become unconscious. He doesn't even know that he is the invisible actor. He is the invisible traveler. He has become unconscious. And he defines himself based on things that are within that box. And that's just like he thinks he's Cinderella. We are saying that to create any bondage, even the slightest bondage, you bring a drop of poison in your system. The moment you create a bondage in this temporary world, you are going to lose something, you are going to miss something, you bring a drop of poison in the system, and your higher experience will become less. To create ego means you are right in it, your embodiment of bondage. So the nature of ego is embodiment of ignorance. The biggest ignorance is this, in a story, you are getting drawn into it. That is the biggest ignorance. That is what we are talking about. And Baba uses the word agyan. So there are many people in this world, scholars, but Baba says there is ignorance. Why it is ignorance? They don't even see this bondage as a problem even. They sort of fully immersed. If someone has created the ego on top, he is the embodiment of ignorance. Ego is this. He is the final result of ignorance. Ego is embodiment of bondage. And ego forever feels he is a victim. So he is embodiment of insecurity. So forever he feels insecure because his world is temporary world, is going to collapse. So ego has got this innate paranoia. Ego life is a life of paranoia. And when someone is into this victim mindset, he looks for dangers. Victim always looks for dangers. So his whole mind is geared towards negative. Such is the life, that direction is this. The downward spiral leads to this kind of life. Do you know anyone who has created ego? Do you know? Do you know anyone who has gone into downward spiral?
Yes. Sometimes yes, and yes, me too. Listening, me before.
Yes. So this has been our journey through the cycle. Golden age, silver age, copper age, iron age. Literally we can say it is like a downward spiral. Baba uses the word stage of descent. And this is what is happening in the world. And this is happening to us also. Even now, because we have got knowledge doesn't mean Maya says, okay, I'm going to stop. This gravity of Maya is still there. If we are creating more impressions and more bondages now, it means I am still in the downward spiral. Downward spiral is still going on. If I'm feeding the ego further, based on already we got old ego, and someone praises your hat, someone praises your shoes, and you feel flattered, you are feeding the ego further. And it means we are still going further down the spiral. Can you imagine this world? The whole world is going in this spiral, and this has been happening all this time, unquestioned. There is no institution anywhere questions this and has any answer to do anything about this. You want to add anything, say anything? We are seeing the map, and today Baba said, even God you can know in the context of the creation. Creator and creation both go together. If they don't know these two things, Baba said they are atheists. Not just God, but you need to know the whole. So here also we are understanding what has happened to man, what has happened to the mind of man.
Question, can we say attraction is being impressed?
Yeah, they are connected, slightly different. Impressed, it has left you are creating impression. Like someone shows you a diamond, someone shows you something in this story, and you think about it later, that means it left an impression on you. The story is leaving an impression. And then later, you want to revisit that. You want to come back to it. That's all. Just want to revisit. You want to see it again. You want to taste it again. That is like it has left an impression. In the beginning, golden age stage, you are involved with golden palaces. But next thing is they disappear. Something else, that is story. You are dealing with a story and something else happens. Something of cardboard. That's another experience. They are not happy because of the golden palaces or because of the peacocks. They are happy because they know their richness of the soul. But as a result, they experience every moment outside as a wonderful drama. They are not claiming anything. They are not clinging to anything, but they find everything is so wonderful. So also at the confluence age, what ultimately what Baba says, destruction is going to happen. And you say, "Va drama va," how wonderful, because you have become free. Just as golden age, they are free. In the face of attractive things, they are free. At the present time, you will achieve that level of freedom. And that's why in the drama, things are dismantled. And that's also nice drama. You say, "Va drama va." If there is a bondage, it will hurt you. Any kind of bondage, you will be getting into. You are missing something, lacking something. You need something. These feelings will come.
A question for clarification. Earlier, when we were seeing the bigger map, what this question is saying is they heard sounds like the soul didn't leave the soul world because he is always secure, that statement. So is it that there is part of us that is in the drama and then a higher part that is in the soul world?
We don't need to That's a separate question, but another your real argument is you are secure, so you are in the soul world. No, you may be going to a theater to watch a theater. You may go to someone's house, and as long as you don't create any bondage there, you enjoy the place. You come home, and you are secure before. You are secure when you are in someone's house. You don't need to be in your home to feel secure. So also here, the soul feels secure because he's soul conscious. He's in knowledge, he's in wisdom, he's in truth. That is all that's required. He has not crossed a line into ignorance. Then there is full security, whether you are in the home or anywhere.
Waking up that perspective that knows he is here as a guest. It's like that consciousness needs to be woken up. A question here, is it possible the souls don't fall down and not part of the drama? So it's a similar point, really, isn't it? That
fall down, when we
don't come
come
down the ladder. Yeah.
In theory, anything is possible, but in reality, we know that everyone goes down the spiral. If you are meaning that, everyone goes down the spiral. That such is the reality. And it may be that those who, we are as if connected. We influence each other in a sort of consciously, subconsciously. If everyone is going in a certain direction, others also join. Human beings are very much like a herd mentality. And so now that the direction of the herd is downward, others also join the herd very quickly and they also go down. This also is a reason why some of us need to change the direction of the herd. Someone has to change it, and Baba wants us to do this. And that is what the Confluence Age is. You are coming out of that direction, and you are coming up the spiral. And if you are doing that, then you are helping the human family in a big way. There are many others who are distributing food and doing wonderful things. That's great, but no one is changing the direction of the herd. That's why degradation is because of that. As you go further down, Ravan is there. Ravan's department is getting bigger, and Ravan's feelings, sorrows, and all Ravan's manifestation. Ravan's that's on a big scale. There can be war and greed and violence that can happen, but on a small scale, just a degradation. That is just gets worse. Another level as Ravan gets bigger.
On that note, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you say in this moment the entropy is getting stronger now, in a way?
The answer is yes. Anything, if you drop a stone, there is acceleration. As it goes further, the momentum, it gathers momentum and gets faster. So also here, from golden age, beginning of the golden age to the end of golden age, you lost just 2 degrees. The whole more than 1,000 years, just 2 degrees. But as time progresses, it gathers momentum and it is at a fast speed. But that's fine. We are now changing the direction. That's why the Confluence Age. In a Confluence Age starts with God's incarnation. And in this context, what is happening? God's incarnation. What does it mean? He just shows to the human race Gyan, knowledge, a different perspective. Why? Because when this 100% of the population have gone in this direction and ego has taken birth, they are in a state where they don't know that they don't know. No one here, how many people tell you that this is a story, this is a drama, and how many people tell you, there may be some philosophers, that are passing, but they don't even put it in practice in their own lives. There are some theories like that. This is a theater, and Shakespeare also says this is a stage, there is entrance, exit. But it is not just say it in one drama and that is the end of it. If it is really a stage and it has entrance and exit, then it changes everything. He would have said it every day if he really understood it. But no one refers to it really. What does it mean? That we are fully drowning in that ignorance, that no questions, no comparisons, no contrast. That story has become your world. Such is the life of ego, and such is the attitude of Patthar. That Cinderella is the only world, and I am Cinderella, full stop. You don't question it. Anyone questions it, what are you talking about? There is a world beyond, there is no evidence, no proof. Such is that mindset. And 100% of the population. Baba comes and Baba says, this is a story. From the first day, Baba is telling this is a story. And there is the real world beyond. And Baba is not saying this is nice philosophy and write books and let us be busy with something else, collecting more gold. No, Baba says this is a story. You have to come out of this madness. Baba is showing the mirror, showing the contrast. He says this is like a full degradation. Everyone is in degradation. All the sages, saints, everyone is, no one has the knowledge. And no one is a Mahatma. This is such a radical position Baba is taking, because no one is conscious even. As was said, soul is unconscious. And when soul is unconscious, ego becomes conscious. Ego is ruling the mind and life of each and everyone. Such is the state at the end of Iron Age. So, Confluence Age starts. You are seeing the mirror, and Baba is showing that you yourselves are like him. You are like the Father. You are that immortal soul, and you are from that supreme home. You are like him in all details. This is the statement from the Murli. Baba says like that. You are like him in all details. So if Baba is experiencing bliss and love and contentment, that is what you are. In every detail, you are like him. But right now, you are not even conscious. The ego is conscious, and ego is even listening to the knowledge, and ego is saying, okay, this is good knowledge. Many people might think I'm spiritual, and ego has no problem in studying knowledge and talking about knowledge and telling everyone, some, give some greater impression. The life of ego is that, no? The ego game.
Talk about making an impact, want to make an impact.
Make an impact, yes. And maybe another form of ego, they might even create a program and sell it also, some stress management program, it can. So spiritual knowledge, ego has no problem. And it is still okay, because at least knowledge is heard. And that will be the first step. When we listen to knowledge, first step will be coming from ego, but that it should not be the end, that ego hears it. And we sometimes say there are 3 steps in our journey. First step is, says layman, we are using the word Harry here, just a Harry hears knowledge. He was without knowledge, he hears knowledge, and he becomes a student Harry, spiritual student Harry. So I'm just writing the word, yes, Harry. So that is a good news, so he has got a knowledge. So student Harry now is sitting in meditation, and he has understood about the soul. He's reflecting on the soul. He's seeing the soul. He has got a right atmosphere at a home, created a special room, meditation room, and he is not in a gross way, he's in a subtle way, he's seeing the soul. So that is good. This is step 2. What is step 3? You want to tell? Those who have not heard from me before, you tell. Step 1 is Harry understands knowledge, understands about soul. From zero knowledge, he has understood all the 7 lessons, and good student, so he has done that level. So he has become student Harry. Student Harry now is seeing the soul. Very happy about it. Creates time to see the soul. What's the 3rd step?
Experiences the soul, realizes he's a soul, connects to the source, divine Atma. Harry sees Harry as a character on a drama stage.
Good, good. Very good. So the next step is the soul now is seeing Harry. Second step, Harry is seeing the soul. And 3rd step, soul is seeing Harry. What does that mean? Soul is seeing Harry means soul has become conscious. In step 2, soul has not become conscious. And so that is still ego-based effort that is going on. There is no shortcut. We start from ego, so suddenly the soul will not come from the first second. But that's fine. That is okay. it is like an ego-based effort that is going on. So Harry is seeing the soul, trying to understand the soul, develops his concentration, and at least follows the disciplines and restrains Ravan. Ravan is made smaller. So that is progress, a necessary progress. But step 3 is soul becomes conscious. And we mentioned earlier, necessary milestone, soul becoming conscious. And soul becoming conscious, game changes completely. Now you are understanding, wow, how wonderful me. This expression Baba is using sometimes. How wonderful me, soul saying it. Because he understands he is immortal and he is beyond harm and he is from that supreme home and he is loved by God. Soul doesn't need proof. Soul doesn't need to be told, remember God. He knows he is from the family of God and he has got a biggest prize. And now he also understands there is this drama going on here. And there is Harry within this drama, along with many other characters. He's seeing Harry with detachment. He understands his complete independence from Harry. You understand? So there was a time Harry was all mixed up. I, me, Harry, and soul, that was confusion. Now soul wakes up, he understands he's playing a part of Harry, but it is not an extension of Harry. Soul is not to be mixed with. Just like someone plays the part of, in a drama, Cinderella. Cinderella is not extension of the actor. It is, actor is different, the part is different. This we have to get right. Paras helps. More we use Paras, it can help us see the clear separation of the story and Harry and the soul. And that has to be put right. And we might lose it, but come back to it. We need introspection. We need to create time on our own and get this perspective of the soul. Right now, a tiny point from that supreme home. He's a guest here and he's a traveler. A tiny point is the guest. And he's watching this drama here. He's watching Prashant talking. He's involved in this drama, but he is carefree. He's completely separate to anything in the drama. More he understands he's separate, more will be his higher experiences. If he mixes things with the drama, the burden will come, heaviness will come. So we need to fine tune, but that is the direction. Excellent. You want to add anything?
Question came, but the soul is bound to play Harry's part. How can the soul manage both roles?
Soul is bound to play. Do you mind to repeat?
Soul is bound to play Harry's part. How can the soul manage both roles?
Which both roles?
I think the way it's understood here, it's like the soul sees Harry as if that's a role, and then there's also the Harry part.
Say Mary is playing the part of Cinderella. If Mary can do that, why not this invisible actor? We call it soul. Soul is playing the part. What was happening before? It was ego that was creating confusion. Ego-based life, ego very much sees, Cinderella as I. and then it is want to detach from the body. It becomes difficult for ego to do this. Ego-based effort goes into some circle, some confusion. So it cannot truly detach. It cannot see the independence from the role. But when we bring paras, and when the soul, see the soul very, very clearly, and we are coming back to this, just that tiny point, and free from the whole story. Story is down below. Soul exists. Soul existed even before the drama started. So it is eternal, and its roots are different, origin is different. So see that soul very clearly. Don't have to use the letter I at the beginning either. Just see that soul. And this soul is visiting this story world. And see the story also small. So that helps you not to get lost in it straight away. Otherwise, this drama, if we see it as very, very big, it takes over. See it as story, see it as small drama, and you are involved with that story and the part for a short time. That helps you remain free, grasp the separation more easily, and helps the soul to become conscious. When it is conscious, then game is different. Part continues. Everyone is playing the part. Just it is difficult for the ego to become soul conscious. If your question has got that part, how to, it is difficult for the ego to become soul conscious. That's why this process. That's why I'm creating extra time to discuss this. Confluence Age, the big benefit of the Confluence Age is this upward journey of the soul. And for that, he has to become conscious. He has to free himself from the web. All these things that he has created in the story, he has to dismantle during this Confluence Age.
Is it a relief for Harry to know that he is only a character in the play?
It's a relief for the soul, yes. Once the soul wakes up, one is a relief, but he also understands the big lottery. He has won this, just that he was not conscious. Now he understands. His lottery is such, no one can deprive him of anything. Such is his prize. And he also knows everyone has won the lottery. It is not, there's no competition in this. All are eternal princes. They belong to the King of Kings. That dimension is such, it is no limits in that dimension. That's why Baba's service or your service is with that understanding. It is like coming from that full cleanliness. There is not a feeling of, comparison or something like this. When it is ego-based, there is some Ravan's vibration can come, the comparison or competition. But here it is authentic cleanliness comes when the soul is conscious.
One comment earlier was, it's true, but the ego creates problems in implementing. So I don't know if you have any.
Sure. During the seconds and minutes, soul is conscious, ego is not conscious. Game is like this. Either Ram or Ravan. You can't have both. So we congratulate ourselves. Even if 1 minute you get the soul properly, accurately conscious. We mentioned earlier, Harry can be thinking of the soul, seeing the soul, that can go on long time. That step 2 is a necessary step, but we shouldn't stay there for too long. Just like, say, if you are a medical student or student in any college, but if you stay at the same level for many years, you spend one level and then go to the next level and then you graduate. But if you stay at one level for many years, then you don't enjoy it, but it becomes a problem for you. If you're not move on, it becomes a problem for you and problem for others also. So here also, if one stays at step 2 level for too long, then ego gets bigger. Ego-based effort. But ego all the time wants to get bigger. And now it is getting bigger because of wrong reasons. And it becomes a problem, for yourselves. It becomes an obstacle. So this step 3 is something which we have to promote very quickly. Let it be, let us understand that there is this level, and during those seconds, minutes, soul is clean. That has to be the case. That soul is conscious, means soul is free from ego during those seconds, minutes. Let us get a glimpse of that. And the more you get this, you will come back to it automatically. You want to come back. It doesn't, yesterday we had Charlie with us and he was emphasizing on getting the experience, spiritual experiences. The one factor that blocks spiritual experiences is staying at step 2 level. Because ego cannot have experiences. It stays at a visualization level, or some knowledge level. But when you come to step 3, then it is natural for the soul to have the experiences. During those seconds, minutes, you bypass ego. You are not becoming free from ego. It is to be free from ego completely is the final stage. But when you are coming in the step 3, you have bypassed the ego. Ego is not ruling your mind during that time, not ruling your life. What is helping in a big way in this is paras.
Does Paris start with step 2?
The paras starts with step 3. Patthar is absolutely, as we said before, for Patthar, this Cinderella is all that exists. Doesn't want to know anything beyond Cinderella. This box is all that exists for Patthar. Can you imagine if that story is the only thing that exists for you? How can you really sustain soul consciousness? Soul has no chance to become conscious in that environment. That story has become so big, so important. It matters, me, I. That is all that you know. When you use paras, you are seeing the bigger map. You are seeing the world beyond the story. soul consciousness is not a question of the word soul, but soul consciousness, the important aspect in that is you are from outside the story, visiting. That is what you are understanding. You are a visitor in that. You are not part of the story. Detachment is an important aspect of soul consciousness. So to detach, you need to have a world where you are going, you are detaching from. So Paras gives you the full map, and in that environment, the soul flourishes. It favors the soul. Now, then everything falls in place afterwards. Once the soul becomes conscious, okay, there is a story, sure. No different than any other actor. They can play the part and they remain free. That is all. We do exactly the same thing over here. But it leads to big transformation, not a superficial transformation. Our aim is not fake it until you make it. That is not our slogan. That is a Shudra slogan. You pretend to be nice and pretend to be loving and kind. That is not ours. We have the option to experience from the first day. It may be for half a minute, but come to the step 3. But this puts us very quickly in that spiral upwards. And that is the good side of this. You understand once the experience comes, one leads to the next. We can't churn knowledge in a superficial way. Some people say we are going to churn, but you need experiences to churn knowledge also. So once you have the experiences, you are then one leads to the next. You will continue to get other experiences and continue to go up the spiral. Powers are still necessary. Maya will still be coming to try they come with the glitter and gold, so not to underestimate that side of it, but you are in a stronger position to win. I think it is about time to make groups, I think, rooms.
It is, but may I just ask one thing, because it's kind of in line with what you were saying. Is step 2 the runaway lift into the step 3 Paris? And I think you just, by what you just said, it sounds like we can just go to step 3. But whether you want to maybe expand on it after the break or have anything you want to say.
Sure. What we are seeing, most of us have been through the first 2 steps, maybe the 3rd step also, but it is not a long process. It is not that few years we need in somewhere. We understood the knowledge first level, then we've been through to 2nd, but now go to this and understand. Just it is question of understanding that the real step 2 is not the destination. Just to see the soul, know the soul, talk about the soul, and that is soul consciousness. No, soul consciousness is the step, and that's why we are emphasizing this. Soul understands his complete independence from Harry. That's why soul sees Harry with that independence. And that is what we have to come back. Maybe for seconds and minutes, but it will continue to grow. clean, getting the soul consciousness clean, not mixed with anything in the story. Then you will get experiences. When it is ego-based, you say soul, soul, but it is all mixed with something else. I say soul, but I'm also hairy a little bit, that kind of thing. But here you're saying soul, but let there not be any mixture from the story. Story is separate. That's why I am a guest there. Soul says that.
Feels like that's where certain language helps, is objective language. So there are questions, we've noted them, so maybe we'll take a break and come back to it. But would you like to hone in on a question which might spark off the discussions in the rooms? Prashant?
How to get on the upward spiral.
Yeah, which is the speciality of the Confluence Age. Spiral.
And another aspect within this, how can we get this, maintain the purity of soul consciousness? In Baba's words, pay attention to quality. Quantity will look after itself. So same he applies in this context. Not 8 hours of meditation, but there is no quality. But start with few minutes, but quality. We have to make it natural. Whole life should be soul conscious eventually. But let's start with quality, and then quantity will look after itself. So that's what we are trying to get. And if there is a question is, how can we get the quality in our practice?
Thank you. So just drop those in the chat for you to start reflecting, and Heather will be inviting you into rooms, possibly with the option to change if you need or wish. And you have the help button if you need to be in a different room for your language or anything. So we'll be back 10-15 minutes. We'll also be joined by a speaker from a surprise speaker. Okay, see you shortly. Thank you. A few more seconds. So it's coming back. Hope you can hear well. It's quite an amazing reminder. I really appreciated this discussion. It's just create a moment to catch this beautiful atmosphere that is being created with everyone, and then we'll continue. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to hear some thoughts from Brother Santi, who's joining from Israel. Om Shanti, good evening.
Om Shanti. Yes, it's evening here in Israel now. So good evening. There was a very nice and important question in the group. The question was, if this is a story and it's so small and I am a soul separate totally from the story, can I dismiss the story? Meaning, should I pay any attention to responsibilities that I had playing one role or another role? So the thoughts here are, well, this is a danger path, because if it is a story and you are an actor playing few roles, like a parent, a husband, a colleague in a work, actor likes to play. So he wouldn't give up any role, will enjoy to do anything within that role. Saying that, it feels not enough, because when one is fully soul conscious, knowing the big picture, knowing that there is that drama, and the drama is part of his journey to take, then there is no question of just leaving the responsibilities within the drama. Yes, before playing any action, one needs to be in that conscious of soul before acting, before doing, before saying anything. So this is the practice. Don't go and give up your responsibilities because it's a small story and I have nothing to do with it. You do your responsibilities within the story, but with the right consciousness. This is the feelings and thoughts that came here when this question was raised. So maybe the ego will tell you, you don't need to fulfill your responsibilities. It's just a story. You can be a bad parent, doesn't matter. You can be a bad employee, doesn't matter. No, it's not like this. Because when you are fully soul conscious, a soul doesn't think like this. You just play his role happily, joyfully, the best he can in that spirit. This is the feelings here. So hope you enjoy your roles and not give them up. They are there for a play, for a joy. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you for sharing. It's a very important area, and which takes time, I think, as well. And it reminded me of the Murli when Prashant referred to it, about understanding the Confluence Age is through God, and we understand his creation. So we can't understand really God until we understand this time, the Iron Age, and we understand Golden Age and what he does. So the feeling is to know it's a play, is to know our responsibility at this time with God, it's like coming together. So it's balanced. So it would be lovely to hear from you also what came up in your rooms, and we have a few questions left over. Thank you so much to Sanjay for sharing and coming back, Prashant.
Thank you. And thank you to Sanjay. And this is a very relevant question. Some others will ask this question to you also. And Sanjay used the word play. But when we are actually playing a game, any game, and you see a very interesting phenomenon. On one hand, you know that it is not important. It is, you're just playing a game for 10 minutes. It is not going to affect your life. You know this. It is just an extra thing. But you play, and you are playing with full enthusiasm, and you are playing to win, and you work so hard, and you are having a big aim to score maximum. At the same time, you know that is not a big thing. If you lose, you are still okay. Whilst holding that space of complete freedom, you are going in it, and you are playing the game. Same thing happens here. More you are relaxed, you actually play better, and you got a ambition to win the game and score maximum. At the same time, you know how to fall and how to start again. This is like a same going on here in this bigger game. And as Sanjay mentioned, various roles you are playing. He used the word play. You are playing them with this energy whilst holding that space that things are okay. There is not a panic. You are not playing with the energy of panic, but energy of fun. Yeah, happy to hear some comments, questions.
Would you say the majority of spiritual effort makers are maybe kind of stuck in step 2?
Most of the religions, they are. We can never know. It is each one knows their efforts, but ordinarily, ego has no problem for step 2. If you are going to step 3, ego will create a resistance. So as long as we know this, and in this case, Baba is emphasizing this. How often you hear it in the Murli every day, emphasizing it. This concept of soul consciousness is not there in many places.
Also,
I'm meaning in other spiritual practices.
I think the question maybe was also connected to here as well. Would you say that can happen here?
And as we said, each one knows. Someone else can never say about anyone else. But in ourselves, we need to check that I am not staying at step 2. That is not the destination. We have to go to the next level.
Is it possible that we are switching between 2 and 3?
Yes, the number 2 is a resting phase, because that is where the ego has been the king for such a long time. To come to step 3, you need to create attention. But when you are creating attention, we have the option to get it right, get the quality right.
Can the development of soul consciousness ever undergo a regression, or is it always evolving?
It can be two ways. You are moving. It is a game, and we have seen in the past. Ravan is a good player. Ravan and Maya are good players, and given the chance, Ravan will want to score as much as possible. So such is the game. But here you got a partner. God is the partner, and so there is a good chance of going into maximum score.
It's a lovely way of seeing it. Does the spiritual journey start at the Confluence Age or from the Copper Age?
We saw from the Copper Age, spiritual journey comes to an end. Adam has eaten the apple and he is not in the Garden of Eden anymore. And he is finding himself on earth. And so it is Ravan's kingdom all this time, Copper Age, Iron Age. Any kind of spirituality is immediately distorted by Ravan. This is what has happened to all the scriptures and everything through the Copper Age and the Iron Age. So that's why only when Confluence Age starts, then the process starts again.
Yeah, thank you. When step 3, you say it's the same as some would experience an out-of-body experience? Is it the same? Step 3.
And not quite. Out-of-body experience, they may not have the same experiences that you have. They may just see their separation from the body, but they do not know the bigger map of the journey, and they do not see the story for what it is. That they do not have internally the psychological detachment from the role. That they think that is just, even in that detached state, there is a attachment to the body and the role. Whereas in soul awareness, the experiences are deeper and richer because you have full detachment from the story.
That's interesting. An interesting question. I mean, is it like, because in those seconds, you do sometimes hear the experience a person is disinterested and sees separation for some, but maybe their context isn't clear. So it can be when in the next second they're back, ego is there to interpret. And that's why there is not always the effort to be soul conscious, even if they know there is something there. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, very clear.
Question, what year did the Confluence Age begin and how long will it last?
1936, that would be the guide time when the incarnation happened. And how long will it last? We are in the last phase. That is the best way to look at it. The wisest position for us is to be aware that today can be the last day. To know that time is really, really short for us. And whatever time is there, we may have to use it in a most effective way. Those who see it that way, they will make the best use of the Confluence Age.
Yeah, thank you. That's the main thing, isn't it? That even in the early readings, the Merlis, it was time is short, and they would be the ones who would be making the best use. How do we know we are in the Confluence Age, or what would be the signs?
Yes, Confluence Age has started, and that is, as we said, from 1936, from Baba's incarnation. The moment I have a recognition of what is happening on this planet, and awareness of Baba's part and his incarnation and the knowledge, if that recognition has happened, then I am in the Confluence Age. And if with that recognition, I will automatically bring about changes.
Okay, thank you. So there aren't any other questions right now. So I know we're kind of coming to time. If you have anything you'd like to share. It's fine.
Let us create a few minutes of attention again. And let us come to this. A great privilege at this time to bring about this, to change the direction of the herd. That is what a privilege. And because you do that kind of service, it brings that kind of a reward. And this change of direction is not through words or service external, it is shift of consciousness. So in a second, we see this tiny, tiny point very clearly. And this tiny living star is the invisible player. He is visiting this world, but at the same time, completely independent. And he is aware. He is from the supreme home. He knows he is very, very lucky. Aware of his worthiness to belong to God. Worthiness to be loved by God. And this is this moment. We are not analyzing the story, but this is a timeless reality. The invisible player knows of his eternal bond and worthiness. Knows that he is lucky, knows that everyone is lucky. They all are from the same home and the same family. And this whole physical universe is an extraordinary gift. It is a gift to these eternal souls. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll create some time to listen to Babdada and finish with the drill. And I'll just put the recording link in the chat, so we'll be posting the information. Shanti.
अभी पहले 1 सेकंड में पुरुषोत्तम संगम युगी श्रेष्ठ ब्रह्माणु इस स्थिति में स्थित हो जाओ। Vansa.